In 2005, thieves pulled off one of the most elaborate bank heists in history. They spent 3 months secretly digging a 656-foot tunnel under the busy streets of Fortaleza, Brazil, complete with air conditioning and lighting. Their target? Banco Central's vault. They opened a fake landscaping company as cover, worked only at night, moved dirt in small bags to avoid suspicion. The tunnel was an engineering masterpiece. It went directly under traffic, avoiding all detection. They stole $164 million. But a suspicious neighbor changed everything. In 2011, a French aristocrat murdered his entire family and vanished without a trace. Xavier Dupont de Ligonnès spent months planning the perfect family annihilation. He forged letters to schools claiming a witness protection transfer, bought a silencer, researched how to dispose of bodies. One April night, he shot his wife and 4 children while they slept. He buried them under the back terrace, sent fake postcards from their supposed new location, then he disappeared. Police found the bodies weeks later, but Xavier was gone. 12 years later, he remains France's most wanted man. In 2017, a broke Russian immigrant convinced New York's elite she was worth $60 million. Anna Sorokin transformed herself into Anna Delvey, a wealthy German heiress. Designer clothes, 5-star hotels, private jets, all fake. She studied wealthy socialites like a masterclass, copied their mannerisms, their vocabulary, their careless attitude toward money. Banks believed her story. She nearly secured a $22 million loan for a fake arts foundation. Hotels let her rack up massive bills. Socialites welcomed her into exclusive circles. But Anna's greed destroyed everything. She threw herself an extravagant birthday party she couldn't afford. One unpaid bill unraveled her entire empire of lies. Did you know someone once stole $18 million worth of maple syrup from Canada's National Reserve? The strategic maple syrup reserve was supposed to be secure, warehouses full of barrels containing liquid gold. A criminal mastermind had a brilliant plan. He swapped full barrels with empty ones, filled them with water instead, then sold the real syrup across North America through an elaborate network. For months, nobody noticed, until inspectors discovered warehouse after warehouse of barrels filled with nothing but water. The world's stickiest heist had become Canada's sweetest embarrassment. In 1996, a bomb exploded at the Atlanta Olympics, killing 2 people and injuring over 100. The FBI launched one of the largest manhunts in history to find Eric Rudolph. But Rudolph had vanished into the North Carolina mountains. For 5 years he lived like a ghost, sleeping in caves, eating salamanders and wild plants, building sophisticated bombs while federal agents searched everywhere. He taunted authorities by leaving cryptic notes and appearing just long enough to be spotted, then disappearing again. The legendary fugitive's run finally ended when a rookie cop found him digging through garbage behind a grocery store. In 1990, 2 men walked into Boston's Gardner Museum, dressed as cops, and pulled off the biggest art heist in history. They spent 81 minutes inside, stole $500 million worth of paintings. But here's the weird part. They took a Vermeer worth $200 million, left another Rembrandt worth $50 million hanging right next to it. They stole a bronze eagle worth $15,000, ignored a Monet worth $40 million. 34 years later, the FBI still has no idea who did it. The $10 million reward? Still unclaimed. In 1983, the FBI pulled off the most audacious sting in the legal history. Chicago's courts were drowning in corruption, judges selling verdicts like groceries, so federal agents did the unthinkable. They created fake defendants, staged phony trials, and offered bribes to see who would bite. For 2 years, respected judges unknowingly took cash from undercover FBI agents. They recorded everything, every handshake, every dirty deal. When the hammer finally dropped, 15 judges were arrested. The most shocking part? Some judges had been so eager for bribes they offered discounts for bulk corruption. Did you know a teenager once fooled the world into believing he was a pilot, doctor, and lawyer? Frank Abagnale Jr. was only 16 when he started his con artist career. He forged pilot credentials and flew over 1 million miles for free, convinced hospitals he was a pediatrician, practiced law without a license, all while cashing fraudulent checks worth millions. For 5 years, FBI agent Carl Hanratty chased him across the globe. The cat-and-mouse game ended when Frank got careless in France. But here's the twist. The FBI hired him to catch other con artists. The hunter became the hunted, then the hunter again. For 18 years, a brilliant mathematician terrorized America with bombs that stumped the FBI. Ted Kaczynski was a Harvard genius turned hermit. He built untraceable explosives in a remote cabin, targeting anyone advancing technology. His bombs killed 3 people and injured 23 more. The FBI had no leads. Then Kaczynski made a crucial mistake. He demanded newspapers publish his manifesto. A linguistics expert analyzed his writing style, compared it to old academic papers. The word patterns matched perfectly. But it was Kaczynski's own brother who recognized the writing and turned him in. The Unabomber case ended with family betrayal. In 2015, the world's most wanted drug lord vanished from Mexico's most secure prison. El Chapo's cell was under constant surveillance, motion sensors everywhere, armed guards around the clock. But his cartel had spent months planning the impossible. They built a tunnel, 1 mile long, complete with lighting, ventilation, and a motorcycle on rails. The construction crew studied the prison's blind spots, timed every guard rotation. On a quiet Saturday night, Chapo simply walked into his shower and disappeared through a hole in the floor. By morning, Mexico's most dangerous criminal was gone. The tunnel was an engineering masterpiece that exposed an embarrassing truth about their maximum security. In 1968, Yakuza thieves pulled off Japan's most audacious gold heist. Tokyo International Airport stored millions in gold bars. The vault seemed impossible to rob, but these criminals had a brilliant plan. They disguised themselves as airport workers, studied security shifts for months, learned every guard's routine. Over several months, they systematically walked out with 294 gold bars, $7.4 million, stolen in broad daylight. Their inside knowledge was perfect, their disguises flawless, but honor among thieves doesn't last forever. When the crew turned on each other, their own criminal code became their downfall. In 1965, one of Britain's most wanted criminals escaped from prison using a furniture van and a rope ladder. Ronnie Biggs had robbed a mail train of £2.6 million, but prison couldn't hold him. He fled to Brazil, got plastic surgery, changed his entire face. For decades, he taunted British police through TV interviews, sold postcards of himself to tourists, even recorded a punk rock album. Brazil wouldn't extradite him. He was untouchable. But in 2001, something shocking happened. Broke and desperate, Biggs voluntarily returned to Britain. He walked straight into police custody. The ultimate fugitive had surrendered himself. Did you know the most famous bank robber in history never fired a single shot? Willie Sutton robbed over 100 banks using nothing but costumes and charm. He'd dress as a police officer, mailman, even a window washer, then walked straight through the front door. Sutton studied each bank for months, memorized guard schedules, learned employee names. He treated robbery like a science. His escapes were legendary, tunneling out of 3 different prisons using smuggled tools. But fame became his downfall. A subway passenger recognized him from newspaper photos. The Gentleman Bandit's 30-year crime spree ended on a train platform. In 1976, a gang pulled off the most elaborate bank heist in French history. Albert Spaggiari and his crew spent months digging a tunnel through Nice's sewer system to reach the Société Générale vault. They worked only on weekends, used welding equipment, carved through 8 feet of reinforced concrete. When they finally broke in, they found something shocking. Most of the safety deposit boxes were already empty, but Spaggiari's real masterpiece came later. During his trial, he leapt through a courthouse window and escaped on a waiting motorcycle. He became a folk hero overnight.